Today we're going to talk about rights theory, social contract theory, and a little bit about theories about human nature. So by the end of this, you should be able to talk about three philosophers who are very important to social contract theory: Grotius, Hobbes, and Rousseau, what their major contributions were to social contract theory and human rights, and be able to identify the time periods and places where they were. Explain and assess natural law theory, psychological egoism, and social contract theory. Compare and contrast Hobbes, Rousseau, and Grotius on human nature. Explain, identify, and illustrate types of rights. Explain and assess Hobbes's reasoning on the foundations of social contract theory. And identify and assess strengths and objections to social contract theory. So that's your overview. We're going to say narrative goals now. So I'm trying to tell stories about these guys a little bit to give you an idea about the historical context. All of them were living in a time of great flux. So why did Grotius, Hobbes, and Rousseau all at some point in their lives flee their own countries? Why was Grotius held captive in a castle with his wife before he escaped in a book chest? Why was Rousseau confined to a one-house island in his own hometown of Geneva? And why did Hobbes burn his own written work? How did human rights get invented or discovered? These are just some of the mysteries we will talk about when we talk about these three interesting philosophers. So, social contract theory offers a rational justification for obeying social rules. So, the idea here is that it gives the foundations for why people comply to the rules for the society that they live in. Remember, Socrates gave sort of a nascent or a beginning version of a social contract theory when he argued for his obeying the law instead of escaping. So he argued that, well, for one, he owes gratitude to Athens as a state for educating him and providing for him. He also chose to stay in Athens because he thought that, he chose to obey the laws because he thought that since he chose to stay in Athens, he could have gone anywhere, right? But since he chose to stay in the city of his birth, he implicitly agreed to obey the laws. He thought you cannot do wrong just because another does wrong to you. That doesn't excuse or endorse bad behavior. So if somebody does wrong to you, including even the state, then doesn't justify you doing wrong in return. So the aim of the social contract theory is to show that members of some society have reason to endorse and comply with fundamental social rules, laws, institutions, and or principles of that society. So we've got this timeline. So it's 399 BCE when Socrates dies, and it's a very long time. We go up to 1583 when Grotius is born, then 1588 when Hobbes is born, and Rousseau follows much later in 1712. So I want you to just start with Socrates and imagine that you've lived Socrates' life and you are now in prison. Do you have a stronger duty to the state or to your family, and why? Is Socrates' argument good? I mean, think about it this way. In order, it should offer sufficient support for him to take his own life. So if the premises are true, is the conclusion supported and likely true? Would the reasoning convince you to drink poison hemlock to be an example for moral behavior and to not do wrong? So our first philosopher is Hugo Grotius. His hometown where he's born is Delft in the Netherlands. He's born in 1583 and died in 1645. He was a wunderkind diplomat, meaning that he was doing diplomacy for the Netherlands by his teenage years. Okay, and he was considered by many to be extremely gifted. He supported religious tolerance in an age of a lot of religious intolerance. There was a lot of infighting by these different religious groups in the Netherlands, and this ended up getting him imprisoned with his wife in this castle in the Netherlands, Castle Lowenstein. And you can go there today and you can actually see the place where he was imprisoned and also the book chest that he used to escape. So he would order all these books, like piles and piles of books, and everybody knew that he was like really well read and very curious. So they brought him all these books, and he and his wife got this plan together to smuggle him out in the book in the book chest, and yeah, that's how he got out. But he's in there because of problems with infighting between religious groups and political groups. He ended up being in a shipwreck outside of Rostock, Germany, and he ended up dying from his wounds. His last words were, "By attempting many things, I have accomplished nothing." So what got him into being interested in diplomacy? Well, pirates. Yeah. So how would you think, I want you to think about piracy back then. There were this is international waters, and even today we still have pirates in international waters. And the idea is that in international waters, vessels should be able to float around freely and not be attacked by other vessels simply because there is no law in that area. Okay, international law is a concept. It's something that everybody just has to agree to. Okay, so that's how he invented international law. Is he came up with this idea about how to ground it in tradition, starting with Roman Stoicism, and to ground it in natural reason. His wisdom is +3, his cleverness +3, and his rhetoric +3. So his theory, Grotius' theory, is founded on natural law theory, which holds two fundamental propositions. First, that moral propositions are objectively capable of being true and false, and that standards of morality are derived from both the state of nature and human nature. Okay, so natural law holds what is right is what is natural for a human being. Humans have natural reason, and reason is the basis for self-regulation and moral culpability. If somebody is incapable of rationality, then we don't hold them accountable for their moral misbehavior because they're not equipped with the ability to control themselves or to follow rules and self-regulate. Grotius holds that humans can all use the light of reason to see that humans are equally morally worthy of what nature provides. Okay, so if I'm there and you're there and there's a well, we both have the right to access this water because we're both equally morally worthy, because we both have the same interior thing, the capacity to reason. He says, look, we all have this light of reason, and we can see that human beings are equally morally worthy, and that means that each and every one of us has a right to defend ourselves and the right to provide for ourselves from what the earth's bounty is. He notes that this is true even if God is not real, because this is just the way that nature is and how humans are. So a social contract theory describes the state of nature. So it's going to explain both the state of nature and the state of humans to derive a reason for humans to obey social rules and norms. So Grotius describes the state of nature, what it is like prior or pre-civilization, pre-government, this way. Thus, by the law of nature, Before property was introduced, everyone had a right to the use of whatever he found unoccupied. And before laws were enacted to avenge his personal injuries by force. Okay, so the idea is that every human is equally right to provide for themselves and to defend themselves. Okay. And that's what they get pre-civilization. Everybody can use force to reciprocate personal injury, and you can do whatever you want to be able to provide for yourself and your family. Other animals do not have rights because only beings that can form general maxims, according to Grotius, are capable of possessing a right. So one of the capacity of natural reason allows us to be able to come up with general rules that we can apply not just to ourselves but to everybody in a similar situation. So that's a general maxim. It's a normative principle. It's prescriptive, meaning it tells you what to do, what one should do, should not do. And it's universalizable, meaning it can apply to all in any similar situation. So we can imagine, right, that if the rule is don't pick apples from this tree, that every human being can also follow this rule, don't pick apples from this tree. Active learning exercise, I want you to think about this. Is Grotius right? Or do other animals apply moral rules to themselves or others? What evidence supports your view? So Grotius does this very clever thing where he takes the word right, which they were using at that time to mean might. Okay, so right really meant somebody had the power or the force to be able to do something. Okay, and he changed it from something that's external to humans to something that's internal, inherent in humans. Okay, so he basically invented, created, or we could say he discovered the concept of human rights. So the right as a quality inherent in humans was something that Grotius came up with. Okay, and this sort of fought the normal rule, which was that might meant sort of authority, like power of the church or the state, or might meant physical force as well. As one scholar puts it, Grotius commoditized rights, meaning, right, he's like the Oprah Winfrey, right? You got a right, you got a right. If you're a human being, you've got a right as well. We all have rights. So having it is like a property of being humans. And like property, we have property, we possess it, we possess human rights. So this set the stage for what we now think of as international human rights. Grotius holds the law of necessity. So I want you to conceptualize what the law of necessity is. It's the original right of using things as if they had remained in common. If in urgent distress, anyone shall take from another what is absolutely necessary for the preservation of his own life, and the act shall not be deemed a threat. Okay, so I want you to think about this. There's this story of this guy who saw a plane crash, and it was like a small plane, and it crashed beyond a fence, and the fence said, "Do not trespass." But because of the law of necessity, he trespassed. He was climbing the fence thinking, I shouldn't be trespassing. And he jumped over the fence and he ended up rescuing the people from a burning plane. So this would be an example of the law of necessity. He disobeyed the rules of property to obey the higher moral obligation of preserving life. Okay? So do you agree that if someone must steal something to preserve his life, like a boat to escape a flood, that is morally allowable and is not a crime and should not be legally, of course, a crime either? Are property rights less important than human rights, the human right to preserve one's life in particular? Why or why not? Rights are entitlements for someone to do something or not to do it, or to be in some state or not be in some state. Rights imply obligations, and obligations imply rights. So if somebody has an obligation to do something, then somebody has a right to expect that. So if X has a right, all or some of Y have responsibility or obligations to X. I want you to think about this for property. Property is a good way to conceptualize rights. So if I own a phone, okay, then I have a right to this phone. But all that really means is that everybody around me has to respect my right to use, access, and do anything I want with this phone. Okay. So basically, me having a right to own a phone is projecting everybody else's responsibility to me not to touch my phone or mess with it. Now, we have both positive rights and negative rights. Positive rights are rights to some good or service. We sometimes call them rights of recipients. For example, in the United States, we have free education up to college time. Okay, and that's a positive right. It's a right to a service or good rendered to the students. Negative rights, on the other hand, negative means not in philosophy. So these are rights of non-interference or not affecting others. So the right not to be affected a particular way. For example, the right not to be assaulted is a negative right. Okay. So again, if we conceptualize this for positive rights, if somebody has a right to some good or service, somebody else has a responsibility to provide it. For rights of non-interference, if somebody has a right not to be assaulted, other people have a responsibility not to assault. So rights-based ethics hold that what is right is what meets one's obligation and allows everyone's rights to be met. So true or false, if someone has a right, this implies others have obligations to that someone. Grotius holds that all animals have rights, and Grotius holds that the existence of God is necessary for the natural law theory. So we have both first order and second order rights. So first order rights are rights directed at certain actions, things, people, etc. Okay. Second order rights are rights that are directed at other rights. So we'll start with first order rights. So if I'm going to use my phone. If I have a right to, if I own this phone, then I have a right to access it, to use it, even to destroy it if I so care to. So, so we can think of rights, first order rights, as either privileges or claims. Okay, someone has a privilege to do something if and only if they have no duty not to do that. So, for example, I have the privilege to drink caffeine. I'm drinking coffee right now. Sorry, I am enjoying it. So no one has the right to tell me I can't drink coffee. A claim, someone has a claim that someone else has to do something if and only if that someone else has an obligation to do something. By buying a haircut, you have the right to expect the stylist or the barber to perform that service, okay, or replenish your money if they don't. Now, second order rights, as I mentioned before, are rights that are directed at other rights. So, for example, there's both power and immunity. So power, someone has power if and only if that someone has the ability to alter the conditions or rules. So, for example, Major League Baseball has the power to change the rules of baseball. I, as a teacher, have the power to change rules of class. Now, immunity, someone has immunity if and only if someone else lacks the ability to alter their conditions or rules applied to them. So I'll give you an example of a Virginia law that expresses immunity. Members of the General Assembly shall, in all cases except treason, felony, or breach of the peace, be privileged from arrest during the sessions of the respective houses. So basically, when legislators are in session, They can't get arrested unless it's a major situation. So match the example of a right with the type. So first we're going to do negative or positive rights: the right not to be murdered, the right to be cleaned up after, the right to be provided a free breakfast, the right to not be threatened with violence. Match the example of a right with the type, meaning power, immunity, claim, or privilege: the right of a citizen to vote for a candidate, the right of a referee to not have rules applied to him, the right of a teacher to create rules of class, and the right of a client to get what they paid for. Now I want you to do active reflection, and I want you to seriously sit and think about this question. This is from William Paley, and this is his deserted island thought experiment. This is supposed to offer a rational conceptualization for the moral basis for natural rights. Okay, so I want you to imagine that you're on this deserted island, but suddenly there's thousands of different people from thousands of different corners of the world. Okay, so we can't imagine that anybody's necessarily capable of communicating with anybody else. And say they're cast together upon a desert island. He wants you to think, if you suddenly magically appear on this island with all these other human beings from all over the world, what would every single person be entitled to expect from every single other person on that island? Okay, he thinks this pre-civilization, so there's no government, there's no natural leader in this idea, there's just a bunch of people with a bunch of resources, and like, go. Okay, so what are the natural rights? What would you feel you could expect from other human beings who are similar to you? And do they even exist? What do you and other people on this island have the moral right to expect others to do and not to do? If they don't exist, if natural rights don't exist, what reasons support your conclusion? So natural rights are what would be expected of others in a state of nature were there no government. Now, Paley concludes this is what we should be able to expect: a man's right to his life, limbs, and liberty, his right to the produce of his personal labor, to the use in common with others of air, light, and water. Now, this is to contrast with adventitious rights. Adventitious rights emerge, they're what we call emergent rights. They arise from political arrangements. So adventitious rights are a right in a word in any one man or particular body of men to make laws and regulations for the rest. Okay, so adventitious arise from political arrangements, so they rely on governments. Okay, natural rights are pre-governmental. So match the example of a right with the type. So adventitious right versus natural right. The right to vote in a presidential election, the right to eat fish you catch, the right to serve as a legislator, and the right to drink water in common with others. Okay, so we're moving from Hugo Grotius, or Hoot, as he may be known as, to Thomas Hobbes. Now, Thomas Hobbes is a British philosopher. He grew up in Malmesbury, England, and he was born in 1588 and lived till 1679. We're going to call him, for his class, the Grim Tank. His alignment is probably lawful neutral, and he, much like Grotius, is noticed to be extremely gifted at a very young age. Luckily, he had a rich uncle, and he was capable of learning math, physics, lots of languages, and started to shine in political philosophy. Unfortunately, his society got into a civil war, so much like the Netherlands was fighting amongst itself. So same thing was going on in Britain. And so he fled England to live in Paris for a while. His intellectual circle included people like Descartes, Bacon, and Galileo. He burned his own philosophy later in life just to avoid what he was worried about, being persecuted, like some of his friends were, especially executed. You didn't want to get executed. So apparently he wasn't that healthy. So we'll give his constitution +1, but his intellect +3. He's accused throughout his life of being an atheist from what he said, and also for, a psychological egoism. So Hobbes argues in favor of psychological egoism, which is the idea that human beings primarily do things because they're acting in their own self-interest. So every time a human is doing something, they're doing it because they want to, because it's motivated by their own self-interest. In fact, he thinks that humans are only motivated by, or not only, but primarily motivated by desire for power over others, particularly. He describes people wanting children as people wanting more power. So he says, quote, "I put for a general inclination of all mankind a perpetual and restless desire, power after power, that ceases only in death." So pretty strong claims there about what human nature is like. I want you to think about if you agree with Thomas Hobbes's very dark view of human nature, or you have a different idea about it. He also thinks that humans are not naturally sociable. He puts it this way: men have no pleasure, but on the contrary, a great deal of grief in keeping company when there is no power able to overawe them. For every man looks that his companion should value him at the same rate he sets upon himself. Okay, now I want you to think about this quote for a little bit, okay? What he's saying is that man's dignity makes him such that he wants every other human being to recognize his inherent worth as much as he himself recognizes it, which wouldn't be difficult. He gives this argument to get people to believe that one should obey the social rules, the laws of one's country, okay? And the way he does this is by starting on just discussing what human nature is like. So he's going to say basically two parts: that humans are relatively equal naturally in body, and humans are relatively equal naturally in mind. Okay, so let's get to this argument about this relative equality. So let's start with equal in body. Humans, except for some, he notes, who are very different, humans are relatively equal strength. Okay, and then the way that he's going to describe it is he's thinking about humans as relatively strong in terms of, are they capable of ridding themselves of an enemy, okay, or being rid of. So can other humans, can that human equally die of a violent death? Okay, so he imagines even the strongest human being can die of a violent death, because if they are, particularly if they're like some sort of bully, then the other people can get together and by conspiracy or by secret machination, as he puts it, they can get together and collude and kill this guy. Another way to put it is everybody's got to sleep. So everybody is equally weak at certain points in their life and equally capable of being killed. He's going to go dark on the way humans are equally wise as well. Okay. This is the idea. most people are satisfied with the amount of wisdom allotted to them. And this wisdom is what is learned from experience. Since basically all humans get relatively the same basic knowledge gained by experience, and each is content with his own lot, then he argues it must be the case that everybody has equal portions if everybody is equally satisfied with the portion that they have. All right, hold on. So humans are naturally relatively equal in body, equal in mind. And from this equality creates discontent. Okay, from this equality of ability arises equality of hope in attaining the ends. He puts it this way: if any two men desire the same thing, which nevertheless they cannot both enjoy, they become enemies. This creates a constant state of fear and danger of losing one's life, family, and prosperity. So basically, because everybody is equal, everybody has equal hope of having the good stuff, whatever the good stuff is. So his idea is that because everybody is naturally out for themselves, one should give up one's rights short of self-preservation in order to join in a political arrangement, which will give more guarantee for safety and prosperity. So if you want to live alone and you want to do it alone, that's fine. But he thinks that if you give up your right to punish your enemies by force and take whatever you want from them, if you give this right up to live in harmony and accord with your society, then you'll have more order and more prosperity. He says the passions that incline men to peace are fear of death, desire of such things as are necessary to commodious, meaning large living, and a hope, and a hope by their industry to obtain them. I'm going to say that again since I messed it up. The passions that incline men to peace are fear of death, desire of such things as are necessary to commodious living, and a hope by their industry to obtain them. Hope by their industry to obtain them means that if you work hard enough, you hope you'll get this good, prosperous life. And reason suggesteth convenient articles of peace upon which men may be drawn to agreement. So this is Hobbes's reason, this is his argument why we should agree to live in society, because it's going to benefit us. Hobbes' state of nature, as he describes life without government. So we've gone through Paley's description. Here's Hobbes' description. In such condition, there's no place for industry because the fruit thereof is uncertain. And consequently, no culture of the earth, no navigation nor use of commodities that may be imported by sea, no commodious building, no instruments of moving and removing such things as require much force, no knowledge of the face of the earth, no account of time, no arts, no letters, no society, and which is worst of all, continual fear and danger of violent death. And the life of man, solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. So let's just make sure you understand where Hobbes is. True or false, Hobbes holds that humans seek power and are naturally sociable. Hobbes holds that governments are necessary for preserving life and allowing prosperity. Do you agree with Hobbes that humans desire other people to value exactly what they value at the rate they value it? Can you think of similar opportunities people take to create violence? I'm going to give the example of soccer hooliganism. What I mean by that is people fight each other at soccer games, okay, especially international soccer games. The teams, sports fans will actually fight each other. And just, I want you to just think about this. This person say they love Milan, okay, and they love their home team. And then another team say they love Florence. I'm making this up, okay, I have no idea. But say these two different cities teams, do a soccer game, it results in real violence sometimes because the other person's opinion of your team is lower than your opinion of your team, and vice versa. So I'll give you one more example. Your mother jokes, okay? So if you love your mother, which we assume with your mother jokes you do, right? If you love your mother, then you will protect her and will value her at a much higher rate. So if somebody attacks your mother, you're gonna have a more emotional reaction. But it is irrational because it wouldn't be rational to suppose that anyone else values your mother as much as you value them. Okay? So, can you think of any other examples where people are rationally wishing people value them at the level they value other things? Now, some object that Hobbes' view of human nature is too distrustful. And Hobbes created a thought experiment in the Leviathan to talk about this. So I'm going to read you it. And I want you to assess it as a rebuttal. Okay, ready? Let him therefore consider with himself when taking a journey, he arms himself and seeks to go well accompanied. When going to sleep, he locks his doors. When even in his house, he locks his chest. And this when he knows there be laws and public officers, armed to revenge all injuries shall be done him. What opinion he has of his fellow subjects when he rides armed, of his fellow citizens when he locks his door, and of his children when he locks his chest. Does he not there as much accuse mankind by his actions as I do by my words? So is this a good rebuttal or not? I'll leave you to decide. Now we're on our final social contract theorist, Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Lived from 1712 to 1778. He was born in Geneva, Switzerland, but he did move around. His motto is, man is born free, everywhere is in chains. He was really a very creative chap. He was a musical composer, a novelist. And his books were banned. He was exiled both for religion and for politics. I think he ended up in jail at least once for insulting a member of the noble class. As I mentioned before, he was forced to live on his own tiny island. Okay, which was him being exiled. I gotta say, his character is really weird. He'll get into petty fights with people who he considered friends. And he had like this relationship with this woman, and all of the children that they had, they abandoned them in an orphanage. So yeah, claim to shame there. He's buried in the Pantheon in Paris. Rousseau inspired revolution. His work changed the way people think about human nature as well as human society. He was considered very charming, but maybe not so wise, and a prolific intellect. So, what does he think humans are like? Well, according to Jean-Jacques Rousseau, man is good. Okay, so he doesn't just act from self-interest. He desires only to be treated as one among equals, and he has a natural love of equality, including love of others as well as love of himself. Rousseau holds that humans are motivated not just, again, by self-interest, but by compassion as well. Like Grotius, he saw humans as seeking to prevent harm or injury whenever they see it. And not only, according to Rousseau, not only prevent harm and injury to other humans, but even to other animals. Society corrupts humans, according to Rousseau, by making them form an unnatural love of self that sees others primarily as competition instead of collaboration or companionship. So I want you to conceptualize now, who do you agree with more on human nature, Grotius, Rousseau, or Hobbes, and why? Now, strengths of social contract theory, unlike some theories which offer ideals of human conduct, rights-based reasoning focuses on autonomy and offers standards of minimal human decency. So it focuses on what's the least you can expect, often not what is the most you can become. It offers a rational connection between moral rights and legal authority. It focuses on what to expect from other people's behavior, the responsibility implied by the right, and what can be expected from one's own behavior. Virtue ethics focuses on self-development. This focuses on altering one's behavior to fit in with all others, not just with oneself. Problems with it. Well, no government is actually founded by a bunch of people getting together and rationally agreeing to the rules. That is just a conceptualization, not historic fact. In fact, Hobbes admits this. He says, look, no nation, and this is a 1600s, no nation has been founded morally by explicit agreement. But all nations are, in fact, in a state of nature with all other nations, or when they are in civil war, they're in a state of nature, or in places where there is no government. So their state of nature is real to them, okay? But the state of government was never rationally formed. Many of those affected by government cannot be part of the agreement, is a problem with social contract theory. So if we think about it this way, we're saying, look, everybody rationally agrees to obey these rules, these minimal rules, and then that's the foundation for what we should expect others to behave as, okay? Well, the only people who are agreeing to this are people who are living right now. So this excludes the voices or thoughts or considerations of future generations. Others that aren't included are often animals and moral patients, or people who can't be moral agents because they don't have capacity and therefore cannot participate in the social contract. Finally, most citizens do not agree explicitly to their own social contract and do not have the means to avail themselves of leaving their nation to join another agreement when they cannot change the laws from within. So even though Socrates is like, well, you can just stay put and, obey the laws or escape. For him, escaping would be immoral. I want you to really conceptualize. First, most people can afford to move to another country. Other countries aren't necessarily just willing to accept anybody who shows up on their shores. So this idea of a social contract, the objection to it is that it's fiction. So match a fact about the life of one of the philosophers to the name of the philosopher. So died after a shipwreck, exiled or self-exiled from homeland, burned their own work, abandoned their own children. Rousseau, Grotius, Hobbes, or all of them. For this one, match the philosopher to the nation his hometown is in currently. So let's go through this. And we've got Italy, Greece, Spain, England, the Netherlands, or Switzerland. So we've got Aristotle, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, Hugo, Grotius, Rousseau, Socrates, and Hobbes.